They kicked down the door and the forbidden entryway appeared before your very eyes. Welcome to BunkaMania UK, everybody. I am Jeremy, professional toolman, and I am joined, of course, by the internet's very own MattyBoo. And today we are going to be discussing all number of things AEW Forbidden Door. Be you joining us here on Twitch or on YouTube. If you want to make some thoughts known as we go along, make sure to put them in the comments, and you never know, we may touch on your thoughts as we go through them ourselves. And worth noting from the outset, everybody, gonna say this now, so to make sure we've definitely said it at least once in the show. Going away from the AEW perspective for a second, this Friday night, depending what you're doing, 7:45 p.m., there will be a live reactions featuring the Decadane and Harriet Mangagal on WWE SmackDown in Paris. So if you fancy joining along for that, BunkaMania UK on Twitch, 7:45 p.m. That will be happening this Friday, and we'll make sure to try and mention that again before we go off the air. Matty, how's it going? Good to see you. Been a while.
It has been a while, Jeremy. I think the last time we did this was the last time we did an AEW one. Bizarrely, the one I was hosting, we literally rock, paper, scissors like before the show to decide who's doing all the talking. And you know what? I'm so happy it's Jeremy that's doing all the talking because I am knackered. I've literally just got back to work today, and I'll tell you what, sitting a middle-aged man, nearly 46 years old, lying down on a solid floor painting skirting boards, it doesn't do you any good.
I mean, Matty, what I just heard there, Matty, was you were lying down on the job. So we'll move on before someone says something else.
Now. Occasionally, I was sitting down on the job as well.
Fair dues. You were casually gracing yourself with the floor. You were getting acquainted with the floor. There you go. But you know what you weren't acquainted with, Matty? You weren't getting acquainted with a forbidden door.
Oh, but I do live in Brighton, so there's plenty of those to go around.
Ain't that the truth? But yeah, so folks, we've got a bit of an interesting perspective to bring you today when it comes to this review, because Matty, you met up with Decadane and Harriet Mangagal. You watched the show on the television via the world of internet pay-per-viewing experience.
We took the longest route possible to get to the HQ of one Decadane because of a thing called the festival. I try not to dox the Decadane, so I'll just say the festival was occurring. And so
the terrestrial festival from Pokemon. There you go. I'll give you the out.
We literally had to take every country and village road to get to him. And after we did that, we were good. We were golden. I think it was one of the best nights we've had wrestling wise in a long time. Like literally from an atmosphere point of view, it was absolutely great. We all got to sit down on a lovely, lovely sofa all together with recliners. And it was obviously the Decadane because he lived there, Harriet, myself, and my wife. And my wife, who is not a wrestling fan, basically was the one asking all the questions all throughout the show. But she absolutely enjoyed it. I think her favourite match was the four-way for the TBS Championship. She really loved that.
Good, excellent stuff. From my perspective, everybody, I was at the O2, my most hated venue. I was there. I went through a forbidden door, seemingly, and I got to see the event in person. So we're going to be able to give you two different perspectives on the show tonight. And probably worth mentioning as well, we're going to do this in a bit of a different order to perhaps how we may normally do things, but we were talking before we went on air. We're going to focus on the unsanctioned things first, then we'll talk over sanctioned things. That's the way I'll phrase it.
Yeah, I think on the evening, we didn't so much have a difference of opinion. We had a spectrum of opinions. Basically, I don't think Ian particularly dug the ending of the pay-per-view. I think he, to be absolutely brutally honest, I think he thought it really sucked how they ended it. I was on the fence up until the next day, in which I decided, you know what? Fair dues, if you were going to do that. An unsanctioned review. I thought fair dues. If you're going to do that, we all knew it was coming anyway from a kayfabe point of view. Why not do it there? Because then at least you've also got the fact that he's then stuck at home. You know?
Yeah, I hear you on that.
And my main question isn't so much what's going to happen with Will Ospreay. We will talk about what the actual ending was in a second. Is what are you going to do with the Death Riders after this? Because their trajectory seemed to be going in one particular direction, and now this act has put them on pretty much the top of the totem pole of bad stuff again. And what do you do? Is the big question.
That is the big question indeed. And of course, as you're alluding to, after the conclusion of this ridiculous 10-man cage match, which again, we'll go into more detail in a minute, the big thing was that the winners were celebrating, that being Team Ospreay, just to put actual context in it. Then afterwards, the Death Ride, after everyone was leaving, like, there'd been a big celebration, real feel-good ending. And then Ospreay got attacked and then was locked in the cage with the Death Riders. A bunch of other people came out to ringside, including the Ops, which I'm not sure if it was shown on TV or not, but Samoa Joe was having a right good go at the production guy sat next to Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, going, "Lift up the cage! Lift up the cage!"
It was chaos on television, basically, what we saw. We saw that the cage was lifted up eventually. But you can see that emotions were high, as it were. I thought the people did their part on really selling the seriousness of the attack.
Came across really well in the building.
In the building, yeah. On television, you could kind of see that they played it safe with the Pillmanizing shot, as it were, because you could see that Moxley clearly stuck his foot on a part of the chair that couldn't actually injure him. Unfortunately, I think camera angles being what it were, you could see that he was being a bit easygoing with him. Unlike the other things that happened during that match, which we will get to.
We'll get to.
Oh, God. But yeah, I think after a lot of thinking about it, I think that this pretty much was the way to go. I will say, what is AEW going to do now? Because an awful lot of their baby faces are now on the shelf. We've now found out that was basically it for Swerve Strickland for a little while as well.
Yep, he's getting some kind of knee op done by the sound of it.
We definitely now need... Hangman can only do so much. Like, before you decide, well, what are you going to do with him? You need a very strong backbone of babyface talent on the top tier. It's very unbalanced now. You've got an awful lot of the top tier on the heel side of the roster now, and very little on the way of the babyface. An awful lot of the babyfaces are mid-card and even lower. And so I think there needs to be an addressing of the balance, as it were, in the coming month.
I reckon Omega is going to be thrust back up into the top bit, as it were, or maybe like Omega and Ibushi, which actually for all we know, Ibushi might have been knocked out a little bit, because I'm convinced he was at one point. But to finish off the thought though, so the Death Riders are attacking Will Ospreay. They Pillmanize him, as you say, with a chair around the neck, and leading into the pay-per-view, the big thing from about a month or so ago was Will just said he's got 2 herniated discs in his back/neck, and he needs to get cleared for Forbidden Door. Then on the Glasgow Dynamite, effectively said, "I've not been cleared. This is why we're doing an unsanctioned match, and why we're getting 4 of my pals to come in and whatnot." But he outright said, after he all but said after Forbidden Door, "I'm getting surgery." He pretty much said that in no uncertain terms on Dynamite. So it was abundantly clear to me going in, no matter what happens, this is the last we're going to see of Ospreay probably for at least a year, I reckon.
I had a big think about this, and I think we were supposed to it happened to him in the last pay-per-view. They did exactly the same thing.
Yep.
They took him out in the main event exactly the same way, but it was during the match. And I think something happened, and I think Ospreay said, "No, I want to do this match on my home turf."
Do you blame him?
And so what we had was a repeat. We basically had the same storyline, but put in repeat. And I think the whole putting them on the shelf was meant to happen a month ago. But Lights Out covered a lot of basis, and a lot of that basis was injury, because nearly a good chunk of the people in that match are also walking wounded. You've got Omega, who for the rest of his career, is going to have to deal with diverticulitis. You got and obviously a gazillion other nagging injuries from his strong style career.
Yep.
You've got Kota Ibushi, same as. Also, if you want to add the fact that the guy is basically walking with a pilmanized ankle, which it's never covered at all. But he
hides it bloody well, though, considering.
Yeah. And also, talking about hiding it, you said this to us during, you texted us to us saying, I think he's donezo. And he looked donezo on television. That guy looked concussed.
Because there was a moment to sort of we'll sort of start talking about the match a little bit as we go now, I think, because we're sort of getting into that territory. But there was a moment during the match where there was a bunch of stuff happening on the ring apron. And then I think it was Nick Jackson gave Ibushi a cutter on the ring apron. And from the angle, from the view I had, which I'll show you guys a photo in a minute because I've got one prepared, literally, I saw his head go bing, and then he was down, and both referees were checking on him for a good minute after that. And that's when I text you guys saying, I think Ibushi's at his bell rung, or some words to that effect.
I mean, obviously, we saw the impact, but we didn't see all the shenanigans going on after that fact. They obviously clearly pulled away to other aspects of the match. Yeah. Just to quickly finish my thought as well, you got Gabe Kidd, who's just come back from injury in New Japan. That doesn't really say an awful lot because they let their wrestlers work injured all the time. You got Hiroshi Tanahashi, who I am still mystified is in this match to begin with. He doesn't like hardcore stuff. It's not his bag, baby. He had to be talked into doing a table shot in his match against Ospreay a few years ago. You know, and there's him going, hey, I'm just going to repair a bit of fencing right here. I'm going to do a bit of DIY over there. I'm going to try and drive Mox's face into barbed wire over there. Do
you know what? When it was announced on Dynamite, I can't remember the exact wording Ospreay used, but he said, like, me, Darby Allin, and I've called my old boss Hiroshi Tanahashi. And there was that initial thought of, what? Excuse me? Yeah. And admittedly, truth be told, I may come onto this later, but the build up to this Forbidden Door show in overall, all encompassing, was pretty piss poor, in my opinion. Much of an AEW fan as I am, I genuinely feel that way, but that's a debate for maybe later in the show. And then when they just casually announced Omega and Ibushi were the other tag partners in a graphic at the end of the show, my brain just went, I'm sorry, what? And it hadn't dawned on me until the match began and stuff started happening in that ring, just how much history was in this match. Because you got moments where the Golden Lovers took on the Young Bucks. You got Omega taking on Gabe Kidd following their Tokyo Dome match back in January. You got Mox and Omega doing some stuff. You got Tanahashi and Mox doing some stuff. I think it was Claudio and someone else. I'm drawing a blank as to who it was. But there were lots of different threads in this match, which I had not put two and two together at all. And in the moment, watching that match, I was totally captivated and hooked. I was wondering how this was going to go and how I was going to feel. And just all the way through, I loved it so much. Claudio and Darby was one in particular, actually, because they've had a lot of matches in the past. But yeah, just now, in terms of stuff that happened, we're not going to go through everything because there was far too much. But this is a good moment for me to show off the view that I had from in the arena and of the cage, as it were, and stuff. So to give perspective, this is Toni Storm's entrance because it was the first screen grab I found on my phone. But this was vaguely where I was. This is pretty much where I was sitting throughout the show. This was my view. It was fantastic. That's also a good indication of what Toni Storm's entrance looks like in color for anyone interested as well. And so it was really, really good. And then my view with the cage down with the ringside was this. So you can understand from my perspective how everything was crystal clear in terms of what was going on, how I could see things. But that is how big the cage looks in the O2. Also, I'm going to say it now, for anyone curious why there are a bunch of empty seats on the top of the screen, that's where like the camera and production stuff were. So there were 2 or 3 cameras along those sections of seats in the middle. Just point it out now. But so that was my view of the entire Forbidden Door show, and specifically the cage. And as a spectacle, it worked really, really well. I did have I'll bring it back up. You can see, the top of the cage. There is a noticeable part of the middle of the ring I kind of can't see, but it didn't matter because the action was so fast and frenetic. it just worked really well and everything going on. I think... Go on, after you, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, much like the Anarchy in the Arena or the Stadium Stampede matches, like the benefit of being there live in the audience is watching the action unfold, and you can literally pick and choose where you want to focus on. And I think a little of that is taken away when you're watching it on television, because on television, you're seeing what they want you to see, the storyline beats, that sort of thing. To take it back over to the absolute carnage and bedlam, you got to be there live to see something like that. And I think that's a sort of real shame. The biggest difference, I think, when it comes to these matches. So, yeah, I'm not jealous of you at all. Honest, when it came to that match.
And also, just to touch on a thing in chat, Jeremy, was there a Tron with the live feed in the cage? So if I bring up that screenshot again of the whole arena, where you can see it says Toni Storm in the top corner, at the top near the center, that was essentially a live feed screen. There was also one on this side of the Timeless sign as well, the big LED board. So there were effectively two big screens showing the live feed. But admittedly, because my eyes were drawn to the ring the whole time, I barely looked at that. I think the few times I did look at it were John Moxley and Darby Allin having a conversation with a fork. And and just a couple of the bits just for some nuance, like maybe when there was some of the beat down at the end as well, trying to gauge who's exactly doing what. Like sometimes trying to get some of the detailed nuance bits. That's when I try to get a bit more detail shown, as it were. But yeah, this cage match though, because there is way too much to talk about it, I freaking loved it. I'm sure Wheeler Yuta's back is not doing very well, because I've shared a video with you, and admittedly I couldn't get it to work on here, but I shared a video with you guys in our respective WhatsApp chat of the view and the sound that Wheeler Yuta made when he landed on that table, and it was a very clear just thud.
Yeah,
that table did not want to break. Also, the Japanese announcers, bless them, had no idea what was going on.
I mean, the angle that we saw Excalibur mount a rescue operation. I can't remember her name, but the female commentator that's there,
Mickey Matoy, I think it is.
Right. Well, literally, the Japanese announcers had no idea what was going on. They're not used to people just dropping out of the sky. They're used to people crashing into the railings in front of them. That's as good as it gets with them. So to watch Excalibur in real time, in real life, literally just going like, no, you need to come over here.
You can literally see him going, move.
Yeah, legit. I think he took his headgear off for that as well.
I think so, yeah.
But then you see El Desperado, for whatever reason, trying to hold the desk together with his hands.
Do you know why, Matty? Because he's a professional. That's why.
He's a madman. Just literally and they just took the full brunt of the thing. It's just like, why? You just wanted to be involved? What the heck?
Do you blame him? Like biggest show on the giant show like that in London. Like he's wrestled at York Hall and stuff, and some random place in London and the surrounding areas of the underground, if you will. So he was very delighted to be in a giant arena like that. But there was also the big bump involving Darby and Gabe Kidd on the other side of the ring through 4 tables, which that was scary as hell to look at. I will say there were lots of fun moments in this match, and we are going to start to gradually move on from this match in particular. But I do think one of my highlights was I said to you folks on our little WhatsApp chat during the show, I think Tanahashi's going to do something stupid. And I was talking with a couple of mates in the building, and I said, I reckon Tanahashi is going to do a crossbody off the top of the cage, because then everyone can catch him and it's no impact on him whatsoever. I had this feeling. And when he started climbing a ladder and then Ibushi had to talk him down, I laughed so hard. I'm not sure how that was shown on TV, but there was this moment where everyone was going, the mad lad's actually going to do it. And then Ibushi, you could literally see genuine fear of, no, please. I know I don't work for you, but please, stop.
So 2 notes on Tanahashi. On the satellite feed, we actually had some technical issues. And it happened whilst Tanahashi was making his entrance. We just had like picture breakage, and then we had a lime green screen for about.
Oh, so
2
camera
minutes.
feed went out.
Yeah, that's. I sent a picture of it saying we were denied Tanahashi.
That makes more sense now. I didn't get that fully at the time in hindsight.
Yeah, and then the second one is when they were obviously setting up for the ending celebrations. I thought, oh, is he going to do air guitar in the middle of the ring and just drive Jeremy completely insane? And it looked like he was going up to do it, and then he got told, "No, Tanahashi, you need to go. You need."
Should
to go.
I tell you why? Because this show ran past curfew.
We know.
So
we know because we know from previous O2s of old.
Yes.
So like when it went past the time, went, oh god, there's going to be a lot of people trying to rush out soon.
Yeah. So the show closed freaking madness and bedlam. With regards to the ending specifically involving Ospreay, either way he was going to be written out in one way or another. And I liken it to a visual novel in a video game. Or maybe something like a JRPG where you can get like the good ending and the bad ending. And it's like, which one are you going to get? And we effectively got both in one go. But you got to see, obviously, the good ending before the bad. And when it comes to Ospreay returning, if and or when that is, we know who the first target will be. It will be Moxley, which is the match that we haven't actually seen properly in AEW. Because if you recall, in the build-up to All In from the Owen Hart tournament, the whole thing that was built up around Ospreay and Hangman was Ospreay saying, one of us has got to take out Moxley. And after the match was done on Dynamite, Ospreay was the one that said, Hangman, you are the guy to do it. I believe it. I believe it genuinely. You're the only guy that can do it. So it makes sense now that, again, if and or when he comes back, the first target's going to be Moxley. It makes perfect sense to me. And it was a bit of a sad ending, but at the same time, like you were saying earlier, makes perfect sense. He's already in London. He can just stay at home.
Absolutely.
It logistically just makes total sense. And one would assume the natural target return date will be All In next year.
I would hope so.
It may be too soon for that, to be honest, depending how severe his injury is.
Well, yeah. One would hope that he'd at least make an appearance or be on commentary. I'll tell you somebody who was an absolutely stellar talent during the whole of this.
I have heard about this.
So remember, did you ever watch the WWE Cruiserweight Classic?
Yes, now you mentioned it. I wasn't sure the banner was missing at the bottom. There you go. That's better.
This was during his retirement while he was SmackDown GM. And so he was the main color commentator in the Cruiserweight Classic. And he did an absolutely fantastic job during that whole tournament, giving out opinions, giving out the reason why this hurts, why this person is so relevant in his weight range, that sort of thing. We got that during almost the entirety of All In, plus Daniel Bryan, color commentator on top of that. Yeah. I think if this is going to be like a semi like career trajectory for him, I'd love to see more of Bryan Danielson. I nearly said Daniel Bryan again.
No, mate, it's interchangeable. It's fine. We get it. But yeah, I will say I would love to see him, Excalibur, and Taz on the same booth.
Oh, yes.
I think that could be fascinating.
Absolutely. Oh, Daniel Bryan and Nigel McGuinness. That would be fun.
Right. I bet.
Oh, we will talk about that later.
Indeed.
Yes.
So out of interest, because it was amusing, because I text you guys, this is kind of what a lot of our chat's going to be, by the way. I text you guys this, can you confirm? But because I should actually also say, I've not gone back and watched Forbidden Door, and I don't know if I will, because it's a long show. But not that detracted from anything, to be quite frank, but they did not introduce Danielson or any of the commentators once during that night. I got in pretty quick after doors opened. No introduction of any commentator. Apparently, Jim Ross was commentating on this show. I had no idea until I read about it.
I think he did 2 matches.
Fair dues.
And then he was out by the second match. So very fleetingly, I'd say.
But literally, we had in the building, unless you were right by a ringside, we had no clue.
So what you did have, and you might not have noticed, For most of the stuff that had a heavy New Japan presence, we had not Chris Charlton this time, but the guy that took
You
over
got
from
Walker
Kevin
Stewart,
Kelly.
didn't you?
We
Freaking
did.
fantastic.
And at one point, I had to say to the others, because they didn't know who the heck this guy was, I said, yeah, he's the main New Japan guy. Be very, very wary. He talks like he's a cross between Excalibur and Don Callis.
But he is excellent.
He's very good. He's very good at his job, but he's got a voice that is incredibly similar to Excalibur's.
Hey, never a bad thing if there's another Excalibur in the world, because the poor lad has to talk so much, give his voice a rest.
It was a great combination. I think everybody that was there did a blindly good job on comms. So I'd love a combination. Any of these people, quite frankly.
So if we talk about the show, sort of just in broad strokes proper, I guess is one way to phrase that. 0 Hour, we'll sort of talk about it in an all-encompassing term. We began with an 8-man tag match, which was El Desperado, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly, and Yuya Uemura, I always have trouble with his name, against the Crew and the Don Callis family duo of Hechicero and Josh Alexander. Now, I will say from the outset, if I have any criticism, sorry, I thought I was about to leave then. If I have any criticism of this show, it's I don't think this was Forbidden Door enough. Because Forbidden Door has kind of been built on a lot of kind of crossover stuff, like a decent amount of New Japan or other talent appearing. In the grand scheme of things, we got 2 luchadors, if you include Persephone later on, if I've got my maths right. And in terms of New Japan presence in matches, it was very lacking in the grand scheme of things. And to me, this needed 1 or 2 more New Japan or international talent, if I phrase it that way, other promotion talent to appear. But I was really, really happy that I got to see El Desperado, got to see Uemura, and I got to see Hechicero live because I want to see Hechicero wrestle. He's awesome. His entrance is so good.
He stood out when we watched it at Dane's place. Basically, they liked the cut of this guy's jib, as it were. Yeah, I mentioned this quite a few times, actually. A lot of the New Japan talent that we had at the show were people that essentially worked for the company anyway. Yes, just seeing it flash up. Yeah, Harriet was actually at the Rev Pro shows that preceded Forbidden Door. So she got to see an awful lot of the talent do some really good matches like prior to the show itself. So for Harriet, this was like a full-on wrestling weekend for her. No wonder she's knackered.
Proper wrestling festival. You know?
Yeah, she got to see Michael Oku and Amira, who I think she made her first full-on AEW debut there as the valet for Oku. But we'll talk about that.
Amira, wasn't it?
Amira, yes.
Yeah. I will say, Mothfox, just to quickly respond to your comment, totally get that. What also did not help the Forbidden Door aspect, to continue my previous thought, is that this show came a week after the G1 finished.
Yes.
That hampered it tremendously in terms of who could appear.
I was about to make that point because placing it here is always a bit dodge because there's always that sort of recoup period straight after G1. Like, they literally, a lot of them, the G1 is no joke. Like, there's a reason why me and Jeremy get excited about this every single year. We don't get a chance to watch it all.
No, absolutely not.
But there is a reason why we are excited about the G1. But it sets up like New Japan storylines going into January for a start. Although we know about Takeshi saying he wants to challenge early. It is some of the best Japanese wrestling you're ever going to see.
Just best wrestling.
Best wrestling on the earth. And we get to get it a second time because Tony Khan is that big of a mark. He's created his own G1 in the C2. It's so...
Of which, we'll come back to that because C2 matches are happening in the UK with 2 shows haven't been announced. We may come back to that later.
Oh, for sure.
Elsewhere on 0 Hour, we had a trios match with Ricochet and the Gates of Agony against Jet Speed and Michael Oku, as mentioned, of which I'm pretty sure Michael Oku nearly left the stratosphere with when Toa Leona pounced him. Which...
Oh my God, that bump.
That's one way of putting it.
Oh.
And then 0 Hour concluded with an 8-woman tag, which was the Triangle of Madness and Megan Bain against Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale. Matty, I'm guessing this came across well on TV. I am pleased to continue our continued reporting that Willow Nightingale is freaking loved by everyone.
Strap. I say it every time, Jeremy.
Mate, every time we say it.
Every time. Strap a rocket to that woman. Why is she not AEW World Champion, Jeremy?
Oh, there's time. But we loved her in the building so damn much. I will say as well, it was great seeing Harley Cameron wrestle. I'm guessing this match was set up on Collision because I didn't get a chance to watch the Glasgow Collision.
Basically, we had Collision the match basically in this because I'm going to say this now. Harley Cameron is only AEW canon if she's on Collision. That's it. I don't think she seems to be allowed on Dynamite anymore. It's like there's storylines that are happening with women that are only on Collision. On that note, you saw Collision. One of the best. No,
I didn't.
You didn't.
I'm not a time, Jeremy. Mate. I was driving to London in the morning.
Jeremy, No. I want to talk about this so much, Jeremy.
Just talk about it.
I know you get so finicky about spoilers.
Mate, I watched the show after. I've already spoiled myself for everything,
Right, there is a scene that happens, and Harley Cameron's involved in this. For whatever reason, she's trying to limp it herself onto Chris Statlander. So she's there as her friend.
That did happen in the backstage promo I remember seeing on Dynamite, I think. So I do recall that.
So this is why I'm so confused about why the Death Riders are the way they are. Because on Collision, they're kind of tweenerish. They take part in jokey scenes behind the scenes and stuff like that now. That damn puppet cursed Harley. I know. She doesn't do puppets anymore. But there's a thing where Chris Statlander won like 10K and it wasn't given to her. And she was being told it was supposed to come out of the Young Bucks budget, and now the Young Bucks don't have the money to give her and stuff like that.
Which, for a storyline reason, I freaking love.
So she was getting more and more asked and like throwing confetti with bits of paper saying, "Congratulations, you've won 10K." randomly to like Renee and stuff. But in this particular scene, because there's been a thing that's been building, and we will get back onto the main show soon, but I need to talk about this.
He doesn't, folks. We're not moving on. I'm just saying.
So, right. They're outside male extras office. I don't get it. But
because the Young Bucks are jobbers.
Oh, yeah, they are, aren't they? So she's outside with Harley, she's clearly like, oh, whatever, it's not going to happen. I'm not really getting this money. And John Moxley and the other Death Riders show up. He looks at Statlander. He looks at the door. He says, "You want your money?" Yeah. Okay. Goes into the room. She has a very awkward moment with Wheeler Yuta, where they were talking about the weather and stuff like that. And then he came out with the money, which was signed, sealed, delivered in a doggy bag, lovely presented, and he just simply hands her the money and walks away.
Because Statlander's going to join the Death Riders, which I was very confused as to why she was teaming with Willow on 0 Hour. But that's a debate for another time, I think. But you know, honestly, the 0 Hour matches, though, were good fun.
They were.
In the building, really, really good fun. From what I recall, I think it's probably one of the stronger 0 Hour round of matches that we've had. Just everything actually felt really, really good and just, not say good fun is the wrong word, but everything felt more relevant than usual in some way. There was some hint of a storyline somewhere within them.
Yeah. Absolutely loved all of this, quite frankly. I loved every match on this. I don't know if it came across on television. Michael Oku did a hell of a bump, like landed face first.
Yep, when he went left stratosphere.
And there's another time where he did like a standing somersault from the ring over the top rope.
Did a Fosbury flop. Yep.
They didn't replay it because I don't know. I was criticizing their lack of replaying and then replaying other things randomly the whole show. That was the biggest sort of introduction to like people that don't really know about this power couple. Like Amira can do both babyface valet. She can be both your Queen Elizabeth and your Sherry Martel, Sensational Sherry, rolled up into one. She can play it the most baby faces baby possible, or she can be there to like get beaten up, be an absolute horrendous person, like literally the one that people want to see like have somebody launched onto her. You know, she can play it both ways. And also to boot, she's a fantastic wrestler. But I don't know where this has gone, but
you tell me, Matty. You're the one talking.
In Rev Pro storylines, Michael Oku is a heel and she's her valet. But they also sort of like in other places they are the goodies. So
mate, UK independent wrestling is very much whatever happens in that promotion is what happens in that promotion.
I hope what I'm getting at is that I'm hoping that with this match we see more from Oku and Amira. Like, because they are sensational talents. Why aren't they signed already? Anyway, the women's match, love the show. I love Willow. I love Chris. I love Harley. I'm still a little bit on the fence about. I think they're using certain moves of her because the other company are doing a very similar move and they're trying to get her move over. But I love the Triangle of Madness. Oh, long may they reign. And Megan Bain as well, for that matter.
Yeah, I wish to do a little bit more with the triangle, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I should add, because I'm clearly my brain is still everywhere. I forgot that the main event of 0 Hour was the trios title match, because that's seemingly at the moment how important the trios titles are, folks. But yeah, it was good fun seeing the Bullet Club War Dogs, though. It's quite wild to see like Robbie X and Drilla Maloney on like a big show like this at the O2. Because I've seen both of them wrestle in some tiny venues, like in Stevenage or something. So it's really cool to see how well they've done. And Clark Connors is awesome as well. And the War Dogs are just a good trio. It worked well.
Is this arguably the highest profile show Robbie X has ever been on?
He might have been on a Tokyo Dome show, but from a UK perspective, quite possibly.
Yeah, it's nice to see, isn't it? Robbie X is a hell of a talent. But yes, I completely forgot that was the main event of the 0 Hour as well.
It takes two to tango, Matty, so we were both on the exact same boat there.
Yeah.
But from there, we begin the show proper, and it began with, I nearly called him Edge, Adam Copeland and Christian against Killswitch and Kip Sabian. Obviously, this was just a very feel-good thing. The singing along to Copeland's theme song was great fun. I will say, I really want them to make a new edit of the song, because Copeland gets to the ring every time far too quickly. So he is then standing in the ring for the better part of 1 minute 30 seconds, waiting for the next chorus to come in for them to start fading out the music. I'm being a bit cynical, but it was great. But that said, though, even from where I was sat, you could tell he was really taking this in.
Yeah.
And part of me thinks the reason that they're doing it each time is we might be now on the swan song section of Copeland's career. I know it's been kind of building, and there was the injury after the cage match with Malachi Black and stuff, but that's kind of what this feels like. And then him teaming with Christian now, of which adding the word arsehole to his Titantron got one of the biggest reactions of the night. I'm not sure if that came across on TV, but we all howled so much. And although we kind of want the 5-second pose stuff, this works to a point. We wanted more, but we had a good laugh. Killswitch is already turning, having just come back, which is incredibly amusing. He's turning more times than Big Show does. And yeah, just a simple match, simple, effective. We got to see some highlights. We got to see CNC, as I'm going to refer to them, I guess, have their moment.
I just referred to them as Cope and Cage.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, literally. On that note, on Luchasaurus Killswitch, I don't like calling him Killswitch. He's Luchasaurus to me.
As did everyone else believe as well in the crowd.
It still broke my brain as to what happened here. I think the intention was that he was stumbling around with someone on his back, and then the Doomsday device happened. But from the camera's point of view, it just looked like he intentionally picked up Kip Sabian and purposely got him Doomsday deviced. Because it looked awkward. It looked like a heck of an awkward setup. We thought he turned then.
the way that AEW's website has summed this up, I'm going to read this verbatim, all right, because it's quite amusing. With Killswitch neutralized by a spear from Copeland off the apron, Cage caught Sabian, and lifted him directly into a path of a mighty spear from Copeland, who made the cover himself.
That seems like an over-explanation.
Hey, and then Tony Schiavone apparently observed on commentary, quote unquote, in the end, it was teamwork.
It makes the dream work.
No, but this was very, very feel good match. Obviously, a bit of the past history, which will clearly come back into play, is the whole Killswitch, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage relationship, because that is still not resolved at all.
No.
And kind of how that's going to go. So that was teased a bit, and everyone remembered that as well. So I'm gutted I couldn't see Nick Wayne in this match, because I really like Nick Wayne as a wrestler. As a wrestler. Just so talented, but legit has broken his foot. So legit couldn't travel to the UK. So it's a bit gutting, but that is the way it goes. Any additional thoughts from you, Matty, before we move on?
The people in the House of Dane seemed quite impressed by Mama Wayne.
Yeah, she got involved, you know.
Oh, she certainly got involved. I just call it the matriarchy now. If this means that she's like full on absorbed like Christian Cage's assholiness, I think she could be a much better Vicky Guerrero. You know? Yeah,
it's not as screamy.
Yeah, it's quite a similar setup for what Maria Kanellis did in Ring of Honor, where she was the hot mom with the two younger wrestlers as her stablemates. It feels like a bit of a repeat of that, but I don't mind, because one of them is legit her son. And then you got Kip Sabian who's like senpai notice me as well. So yeah, I hope they actually do something with the matriarchy. And yes, Harriet was quite transfixed on Mama Wayne, as it were, as you
is
saw
that
the eyes.
So?
Okay. Yes, as was my wife.
Noted.
They are the aforementioned people.
Noted in dispatches, as it were. Next up was the TNT title match. It was Kyle Fletcher against Hiromu Takahashi. Now, Matty, if I may be so bold.
Yes.
Absolutely no one thought Takahashi was going to win this. We still cheered for him. It was kind of obvious, literally. But that said, I was still really excited to see this match. I knew it was going to be a really good one. And it freaking was. Hiromu's great. I've not seen him wrestle live in so long. There was some really brutal things involved in the match. I think there was a time bomb that was countered towards the end as well. But ultimately, Fletcher was able to get the win. And the TNT title reign continues. And of course, there were copious chants against Don Callis, as you could probably imagine. Of which I've got to say, then you wouldn't have seen this on TV. Don Callis does react, and they occasionally cut to him when show he's reacting. He noticed incredibly quickly when a chant against him was happening. Like, you would hear like a couple of people say it, and he would immediately be like, "What?" I'm like, "How did you hear that? You're wearing headphones."
He just knows. He knows.
Feel the aura.
Like in New Japan. So, on that note, and again, I will move swiftly on. Don't worry. This could have easily have been a light heavyweight. A junior heavyweight title match in New Japan. This is how good this match was.
It's really good.
Absolutely good. And much like you, I'm jealous. There's two things in this that I'm really jealous about that, that we could have traded places on. The fact that I didn't get to see Hiromu Takahashi, and the fact I didn't get to see Tanahashi in his last UK match.
Yeah, that really sunk in during the show for me. Like, when I talk about the history involved in that match as well, the cage match, that was something I was alluding to as well.
That match has layers in feuds, by the way. So many layers. If you know, if the real ones know, if you got the fact that Tanahashi teamed up with Omega on your bingo card, like, Jesus Christ. And of course, Kota. But I digress. The best thing, just having a look. Carl Fletcher should not lose that title for some time.
I don't think he will.
He held his own in that media scrum afterwards. He has totally got it. He's got the Kavorka. He's dressed in suits in the media scrums now, Jer. It's literally, he is pretty much your full-on working wrestler now. Like, there are... He's got places to be. And I'm really happy for him. Like, sincerely happy for the guy. Because this is a guy that started aged 18. And it's like, he's like literally gone into a smoking inferno, you know?
From the Aussie Arrow to the Proto Star.
Absolutely. So the right guy won. I would just say that. And this is me, a Hiromu fan, you know?
Agreed.
I'm just sad he didn't bring Dowell with him.
Hey, you know what? Budget. You know, he had to go to Glasgow as well, don't forget. So.
Oh, yeah, there was that. Anyway.
I will say a Kyle Fletcher observation, and I've thought about this for a while. His current music.
Yes.
It doesn't suit him.
I like it.
I like the song. I just don't think it suits him as a heel. Like, when you kind of hear it, it to me, it kind of gives more you want to cheer him vibes. Whereas his really obnoxious, over the top, loud sort of techno-y thing that he had, it kind of made you not want to like him. And every time I kind of hear the opening riff, it's like, I don't get the sense I should be booing him. But that's just me. But
well, it's fine. In about 2 years, he's going to be a babyface for sure.
Oh, there you go. When the Don Callis family eventually falls apart and shrinks.
When Don Callis does what he does best, gets a shiny new toy, and then decides he's forgetting about the others.
We'll talk about a shiny new toy in a few minutes. But before that, we have a TBS Championship 4-way match, which featured Mercedes Moné and her 8 Beefeaters Royal Guards walking behind her during her entrance, which I howled at. What a fantastic entrance.
I will fully admit to you at this point, Jeremy, this is the match I didn't get to see an awful lot of because at this point we were cooking pizzas and sorting out food for the evening. But my wife sat through the whole thing and enjoyed every single aspect of it. She absolutely loved this. If she's in the chat right now, she can state her opinion on there. But yeah, she particularly, I think, let's just go through because I need to get her
the actual
name.
Participants, I should finish that. So we had Mercedes Moné, the champion, defending against Bozilla, representing Stardom, who, for those unaware, is the daughter of German wrestler Ulf Hermann, who a bunch of folks, but yes, Matty, who a bunch of folks may remember from, I think, some latter-day ECW and then also some 1PW days. There's a callback for you.
1PW,
some FWA probably as well.
FWA, thank you.
Also wrestling from Brian Dixon and stuff. But yeah, daughter of Ulf Hermann, apparently, which I was unaware of until before the show.
Oh, Christ almighty. So there's a bit of a hometown for her then, because Ulf Hermann, as much as he is known for the European wrestling scene, he did have a strong presence in the UK wrestling scene, especially in the late 90s and the early 2000s. So
UK as well.
Now you said it.
Yeah. Sorry, you cut out for me. That's why I started speaking and you came back in. It was just me. After you.
No, so that probably explains why we liked her so much, because she's adopted some mighty genes there. I think the ones that stood out for Stitch were Alex Windsor. I should say
also Alex Windsor and also Persephone representing CMLL.
Were Alex Windsor and Bozilla were definitely the standouts for her.
Bozilla in the building stood out a lot. Like, the match was clearly designed to make them known on a bigger stage.
I believe I said before we went off to sort out food, I said, I love Persephone. Persephone's going to take the pin. And ergo, Persephone took the pin. This is a match I do want to look back on because it was apparently incredible. We just didn't get a chance to see all of it. We did see some. We saw some really good bits. We saw Alex Windsor getting fired like out of a cannon at one point by Bozilla. Unfortunately, I haven't got much else to say. Bozilla is, you give her a few more years out there in Japan, she's going to be a megastar.
What was actually a very smart thing in the build? I'm not sure if this was shown on TV or not, because again, I haven't seen the live show. But what was very smart was they actually had a little bit of a description of each person on the video wall, and we could hear it. So we got like a little bit of an explanation as to who Bozilla is, because quite frankly, I'm going to assume 90% of people did not know who they were, myself included. And we got a little bit of an indication. It's like, okay, you're going to be like a power wrestler. We get your game sort of thing. So there was a nice bit of build up in terms of who was going to be involved in the match. And as Mothfox has actually put in the chat, do AEW sign Bozilla or risk letting it get picked up by WWE? Either or, but also part of me thinks they may want to stay in Stardom for a bit. But let's call it like it is. From a European wrestling perspective, growing up, when they would have done most likely, WWE was the thing. So if WWE come calling, it might be like a Stephanie Vaquer thing, as you mentioned, Mothfox, where they choose WWE over someone else. But I would love to see them get more of an opportunity in AEW because I think they could fit in so well. And this match itself, it was good fun. It wasn't the most spectacular thing since sliced bread. If anything, I think Mercedes Moné came across as the weakest person in the entire match and then stole the pin, which they are wont to do on the occasion. But it was totally fine. Lots of people were doing Mercedes dance. People were happy.
One thing we need to point out is that Mercedes Moné is now the holder of 9 titles. I cannot remember. Harry might need to fill us in, but she won her 9th title in the Rev Pro.
It was a Scottish title, wasn't
match.
it?
It was one of the Scottish titles.
So, Matty, pop quiz. Name 3 of her titles that aren't the TBS title.
Well, I can do the easiest one first. The Rev Pro Undisputed Women's Championship.
Okay. I know it's 2 belts. That only counts as 1.
I'm not using the other one. I know that's just basically a fake title for now. Oh, God. CMLL Women's Champion?
Correct. I don't know the
and-
official name of it, but yes.
Well, it's the CMML Women's. No, I don't know. I'm not even going to try because otherwise we'll be here all night. And then I think she hasn't got the Strong Championship anymore.
So I will put you out of your misery, Matty.
Yeah,
I'm going to
please do.
attempt to name you all of the titles.
I'm going to kick myself in a minute because I know at least another one.
So, according to Wikipedia, the titles they currently hold are as follows: the AEW TBS Championship, the Best Yacht Wrestling Women's Championship. I'm unaware of this promotion, but so be it. The Discovery Wrestling Women's Championship, the CMLL World Women's Championship, the EWA European Wrestling Association Women's Championship. We then have the PTW Primetime Wrestling Women's Championship. That's 6. We have the Rev Pro Undisputed Championship. That's 7, but it's 2 belts. And then the other title is not listed on Wikipedia.
Jeremy, do a V for victory again.
What?
You were triggering your FaceTime graphics when you were doing the counting up.
Oh, was I doing that?
Yeah, and then you had a thumb up and you had balloons
right,
come up at one point. But yes, she's got a lot of belts and she wants to get a 10th because over on Pro Wrestling Eve's The Riot Girls of Wrestling, Nyla Rose won the Eve World Women's Championship, and yes, Mercedes is stalking her now. So
what I'm hearing is on Dynamite tomorrow, we're going to see that match happen.
I want to. If Mercedes Moné shows up on a Pro Wrestling Eve, that's the one I'm going to. I'm just putting that there now.
Noted. So, following that match, we then came to what I think for a lot of people in the crowd was one of the featured matches of the evening. This being for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Nigel McGuinness against Zack Sabre Jr. Now, it must be said, I utterly adored how they built up to this match in the building. I assume this was shown on TV, but they had a video package when Nigel McGuinness was playing chess with Johnny Saint. And it was such a wonderful moment, just seeing that and the idea that they're building up, and you've got to keep thinking ahead and go hold for hold and stuff. Just a little bit of extra, like sprinkle of sauce, if you will, on top of what was already going to be a great match. And yeah, it was really good fun. I will say, not to be negative, but this is just my opinion, I found it difficult to fully engage with the match. I don't know why. It might have been because Daniel Garcia was there and I was just expecting and waiting for him to do something. But I thoroughly enjoyed the wrestling. Also, was it shown on TV, by the way, that Johnny Saint was sat at ringside?
Yes.
Would you like to hear a tidbit about him sitting at ringside?
Did they bring him in?
Well, yeah. But so something happened with Johnny Saint.
Oh, okay.
Because there was it may have actually been during this match when there was like a seating kerfuffle going on with a few people around my area and something was getting sorted, so maybe that took me out of it. But there was a particular sort of venue staffer, if you will, notable, like wearing a headset and all this stuff, who was having to sort it out. And then suddenly I noticed the cameraman was pointing at Johnny Saint, and suddenly that venue staffer went up to Johnny Saint and the person sat next to him and started talking to them because their seats were added and were not in the row. So from what I can gather, the venue staffer trying to do their job was saying, you can't sit there. And then one of the actual AEW security guys with the headsets at ringside had to start talking to the security guard going, no, they're part of the show. Let them sit here. I work for the company. And this was happening for a couple of minutes. Honestly,
Lord.
It's incredibly amusing. But I digress. I think another reason why I couldn't fully connect with the match is I really, really wanted to hear Bryan Danielson on commentary during this. And I feel that could have added another level to this. This match was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I think I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, probably because I wish I'd have just been much closer so I could see a lot more of the intricacies, if you will. Because doing a match like that in a giant arena with, 18K odd of people, I was in the lower tier at the back of it. What would it have been like in the upper tier is what I'm wondering. Like, it's a very nuanced match. And I think that, from a live experience point of view, did detract slightly, but only because of just the circumstances of there and then.
As you are fully aware, I am a massive Nigel McGuinness fan.
Likewise.
I never even considered the fact he was going to win this match. Much
100%. It's like Hiromu. No one thought it was going to happen.
The one thing I genuinely got this whole entire match was the level of respect that Zack Sabre Jr. relished upon him during this whole time.
Yeah.
That's a side of Zack you don't tend to get an awful lot of. So it was a nice little new dynamic that was brought in. We did get the promo package between Nigel McGuinness and Johnny Saint. I think it was absolutely adorable.
Agreed.
Were you expecting Daniel Garcia to either throw in the towel or turn heel on McGuinness the whole match? Because I was.
I was expecting him to turn heel. I'm going to be honest, Matty. I didn't know he had a towel in his hand.
He had it round his neck the whole match.
I didn't notice at all. There was another random moment where I think, again, because from my vantage point, I couldn't really tell, but I think he tried to push the rope towards Nigel while Nigel was in a submission.
I think he did.
And the ref had a go at him. And then randomly later in the match, the ref started having another go at Daniel Garcia, but he legit hadn't done anything. It was just kind of like, what happened there?
So,
bit of a moment.
So I was imagining we were going to have a twisty-turny finish, and we didn't really get that. I can't actually remember the finish we got. I think it was a quick roll-up after a series of roll-ups.
It was sort of a couple of roll-up combinations, and Zack got like a deeper one in.
It was a match that just ended. And for me, it kind of took my sales out a little bit.
Yep.
I think that might be what you're alluding to. But up until that point, it was an incredible matchup between two of the strongest technical wrestlers we've had from this country.
And Nigel looked great, considering he's not wrestling that often.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I'm really interested to see where this goes between him and Daniel Garcia. Again, unfortunately, it's a storyline that's only kept to Collision. And
it's been very stop-start as well.
It is very stop-start. I don't know what they're doing with Garcia. Because he's there half the time with a big boo-boo face. And it's like, either shit or get off the pot when it comes to Garcia. Either make him the full-on bad guy, or do something with him, because the way this is at the moment, it just seems to be every kind of opportunity he gets goes to someone else. And that must eat up on him. It certainly eats up on me as a viewer watching this guy literally not get used.
So here's a quick pop quiz, Matty.
Mm.
Do you remember what Daniel Garcia was doing a year ago?
Literally just making his debut after not being used because he didn't re-sign to the company up until that point.
He came in and he helped Will Ospreay defeat MJF for the international title.
Yes.
Because I remember this because me, Decker, and Harriet had no idea who it was at ringside because we had no big screen where we were in the stadium. But yeah, and that was that was a good launching pad moment. Right, he's back. He can take on MJF or do whatever, and just it's not nothing else has really happened with Daniel Garcia. They've tried a few things. He got the TNT title for a little bit. I was never enamored with his feud with Adam Cole. It didn't work for me. It just didn't work. He is a fantastic wrestler. I would love to see him and Zach hook it up. That would be phenomenal. Those two having a technical match.
The last time I saw him do anything remotely interesting was when he was having his feud with Wheeler Yuta between Dynamite and Ring of Honor when they were feuding over the Pure Championship.
It was great. I remember that. It was great.
It was fantastic. Great. Absolutely fantastic. Plays to his strengths. I don't know what they're doing with him. I honestly don't know what they're doing with him. I thought this was going to lead to something, and it didn't actually lead to anything.
Can I give a suggestion as to why? Because of how the show ended.
I suppose.
If you'd have had two London lads get beat down and turned on, as it were, in the same show, is it overkill? I totally agree. It should have happened for what it's worth.
I will counter that with he had a towel the whole time. We had this with Owen Hart when he convinced Martha Hart to throw in the towel to get Brett to get Brett to lose the match years ago. So we know this is a thing you could totally utilize. In my mind, how this should have played out, Zack Sabre Jr. does Zack Sabre Jr. things. Get Nigel in a position where he cannot escape from. Literally, he is outclassed him now. And he's got him in every way. And Nigel doesn't want to have it end this way. And then Daniel Garcia throws in the towel and ends the match. That's how I see this. Because it then feeds into whatever's going on with the pair of them in Collision. And then you see what goes on from there. But we didn't get that. And this is why I think the ending of this match just feels so flat.
I mean, it tends to happen in technical matches. I did double check, actually. It was a bunch of counters and then a deep sunset flip that ultimately got it.
Yeah.
But another thing as well is, and this might be now more to perhaps the wrestling fan coming out in the booking of this, but this was a dream match. And there's an element where you just wanted a decisive winner. But I think as soon as Tony Schiavone came in the ring, we all thought, okay, he's probably going to talk to Nigel, get a bit of a round of applause. And then we saw Daniel Garcia step up on the apron, and all of us, everyone immediately went, here we go. Here we freaking go. It's going to happen. And then it's like, he shoved Tony and hugged him. Okay, what's going to happen next? And then Tony started talking about the attendance.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Garcia and Nigel just left.
On that note, there's a good segue to something that happened in 0 Hour. Because we had to talk to each other. We basically, at the end, near the middle of the show, I ended up putting my phone on a cushion between me and Harriet, and that became the seat that Jeremy is sitting on. Because we had full-on conversations with Jeremy, literally out throughout the show, sending us voice notes back and forth, text, the entire lot.
Because I had signal in the building. I was flabbergasted.
So I ended up putting his face on a phone every now and so they hit that on a cushion, and that was the Jeremy position. But I digress. You obviously you do know now, but at the time, do you want to fathom what the hell Tony Khan and Martha Hart were on about when they showed up in 0 Hour?
I think when they came out, I was thinking, are they going to announce an Owen Hart tournament thing? What are they going to announce? Because I seem to recall Martha Hart came out at Wembley last year and something was announced, but I don't remember what exactly. And then I thought, okay, so they're probably going to announce something, or maybe this is a way to announce another tournament thing, or to say the Owen Hart Cup will return again next year. And then Martha Hart suddenly said something to the effect of, yeah, I'm really looking forward to MJF and Hangman. I want MJF to win, but I think Hangman will. And pretty much everyone just had that moment of, wait, what? There was just a collective, what's just happened? And then you could tell there was a really awkward pause. And I think it was one of Martha's sons behind her. Suddenly went like, hey, what, do you agree with me as well, right? And he just kind of went, yeah. At which we all laughed. It's like, this is falling off the rails. Someone end it.
And then Tony did. Allegedly, according to reports, they were literally just there to announce the attendee record. And then for whatever reason, Tony didn't. TK didn't. And that was the end of that. And they then had Tony Schiavone later on do it. I'm guessing they decided on the fly, do it during the main show. But during the whole of that, you had literally me, Harriet, and Dane literally on tenterhooks going, go on.
Mate, what did I text you? I think I just said, what's just happened?
I was like, go on. And I'm thinking, well, it's going to be the Owen again. For sure. That's what they're going to say, like the finals happening in the UK or something next year. And then nothing. Literally nothing. It was all hyperbole. And which, by the way, Tony, please, for the love of God, if you're going to cut a promo, please do stop doing it with that half screamy voice, because it's terrible. I don't want to pick on you.
For what it's worth, over the PA, it didn't sound too screamy.
From television, what we got is, and it's so great to be here in the greatest country in the world, in the UK. The UK's so great.
Do you know what? So, here's a tangent. There was a guy in my row who had flown over from America to come to the show, because we got to talking and I had to try and surreptitiously say, how do I ask, have you come from America for the show? And I think I said something to the effect of, forgive me for stating the obvious, but your accent implies you've come from overseas. Is how I phrased it. And he said something to the effect of, yep, I am so glad to be over here. Don't go to the US. Was literally what he said. Just said it just point blank without prompting. But yeah, so overall, thoroughly enjoyed Zach and Nigel. Wish I could have heard the commentary. I couldn't get fully into it. Fully expected a Daniel Garcia heel turn, and it didn't. So I fully expect it will happen in 6 months' time, because that's how things go in AEW. And that's coming from a big AEW fan. So next up was for the World Tag Team titles. It was Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, the Hurt Syndicate, defending against Bro Dido and FTR. Now, when the entrances were... So, another little peek behind the curtain, folks, as it were. We figured out from when I was sending messages to when you guys then saw it on TV, there was about a minute's difference. And as soon as the teams were coming out, as soon as Bro Dido started coming out, I instantly knew they were going to win. Should I tell you why?
Why?
Because they had their own video wall. They came out in matching gear. It said Bro Dido. It wasn't Bandido comes out, then Brody comes out. They came together with a bit of a mashup, and it's like, well, they're not going to go to all that effort if they're not going to win, surely. But not to be the spoil sport here. The big question, I don't know if this has been answered yet. Where the hell was MVP? Is he okay? Did he get stuck at customs?
Do you know what? I didn't even notice he was gone. I legit forgot. I didn't know he was there.
He was announced as being with them, I'm pretty sure, on the ring announce. I think they said accompanied by MVP, and I just said, where is he?
Harriet, Dane, can you confirm whether you saw him there or not? Because I actually have no memory.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't there.
So, wowzers. Yeah, so we gathered that this was going to be the match where the Hurt Syndicate was going to lose the titles, and yet not lose the titles.
Exactly. This was their way to lose them without losing.
I was so sure it was going to go to FTR.
Because of Cajun Christian.
Because of Cajun Christian. And to be quite blunt, because FTR are one of the biggest tag teams in the company. You know, if it wasn't going to be with the Hurt Syndicate anymore, it would surely go to them, which then feeds into later feuds. With that being said, I was genuinely happy about the fact that Brody King and Bandito won these.
Oh, I was so damn happy, mate. Like, genuinely, really, really happy because the teams worked out well. Now, I don't know what happened at the finish. Something happened. It went AWOL, but it was still really, really good that they won the belt. It's just a tag team dynamic that works. You could imagine that if Buddy Matthews was back and not on the injured shelf still, that this may have been a time for him and Brody, to win the titles. But this team of Bandito and Brody King, it just works. It's fun. There's different dynamics involved. They both have a bit of a laugh with it. You get to do the ho ho sound to Brody, and then you get to see Bandito just be a wild bandit. It's great.
Yeah,
it's great fun. Oh, also, I must say before I forget, and forgive me for just hogging all the talk. FTR are the best.
Yes,
because there were some chants happening, and I want to say. There was a chant that started at All In Wembley when they faced the Bucks. Because do you recall a couple of years ago, before All In, one Mr. Cash Wheeler was arrested on possession of a certain implement which is banned in the UK. I'm not going to say it in fear of that this video then gets hidden.
Yeah,
you get what I mean. So that chant came back again at this show, which was really good fun, and Wheeler instantly clocks it. No unintentional pun intended there. And at that point, you could see he was like eating up a bit. He started going, mwah, mwah, and whatnot. And then Dax, being the excellent heel that he was, started pointing at a couple of people in the crowd and said something to the effect of, to Stokely, Stoke, sort them out. At which point, Stoke had this look of, what? It's like, you, talk to them, stop, make them stop. And he went over and just went, you, stop it. It was such good fun. It's just stuff like that I love. It was so good. But I've digressed far off topic, but FTR are still great. But I do agree. I kind of thought FTR were going to win this going in, but as soon as Brodino came out with their own video wall, it's like, nope, they're winning 100%. I get it. They've gone to the effort. But now, of course, the question is, folks, how did they win the titles? Other than the slightly funky finish, as it were, that whatever happened. But before this, now, it should be said as well, the Hurt Syndicate, considering that they were losing but not losing, Matty, you'd have thought that they may have, it might have been a bit more of an even playing field when it came to who looked the strongest. The Hurt Syndicate mullered both Brodito and FTR. They were like gods of Olympus compared to the peasants down below in like the back streets of Pompeii or something.
They hurt people.
There you go. And so ultimately, a couple of lads in New Japan tracksuits came out, and I'm thinking, ooh, who have we got? Who have we got? I can't tell it now. I've got hoods up or something. Who have we got? And they kept fighting, and it's like, we're not going to find out who they are we? Damn it.
You guys didn't, but we did.
This is the thing. They were fighting up the ramp, and I thought, okay, well, they're going to fight to the back. I'll carry on looking at the ring. So I did. And then I turned back, and I suddenly saw it was Toa Leona and Bishop Khan. And it's like, oh, crap, that's cool. They're going to face the Hurt Syndicate. Wait. And then the gears started turning of, wait, Ricochet's had some beef with the Hurt Syndicate. That kind of makes sense. You know what else makes sense? Recently, MJF has hired Ricochet and the Gates of Agony to take out Mark Briscoe. So maybe MJF, in a way to make them having lost the titles without losing them, because, politics, has now helped them to have lost said belts, but via the use of money. Ha ha!
It's a very turnaround way to think about it, but think about it, you do. You go, yeah, it makes an awful lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Like, for
100%.
sure. They literally are the help that MJF wanted. He's now got. The only thing is now is you still got an utter bastard in Ricochet. So how's that going to pan out between them?
I'm going to assume this is how the Hurt Syndicate turned babyface fully.
Oh, 100% for sure. And it was a way to just take the titles off them. I'll be honest. It was getting to the point where you couldn't really do much more with them with those titles. So I'm very, 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 very interested to see how far this goes with Brodido. I swear it used to be called Band King or something. I think they've switched
Band
it up.
King.
I don't know. I swear they've just recently changed things. Not without getting into too much details on the overall politics climates out there at the moment. Brody King is just such a good egg. Just
So good. He's so good.
He's just such a good egg at the moment with what he's doing out there. And you could see the genuine love and warmth between them as friends at the media scrum afterwards. He got him, I think, a signed football T-shirt from one of the Mexican
Was that from Tony Khan, was it?
No, it was Brody King presented.
Freaking amazing. Good lad.
With it. It's a signed football
I'm sure
jersey.
Tony Khan helped him get a signed Fulham jersey. That's pretty what it was.
Oh, for sure. But yes, just genuine good egg. So that and the fact that he's finally, got a proper title out there as well. He's tag team champion. Absolutely 100% deserved. Now, the fact is that Bandido is now a double champion because he's the Ring of Honor world champion. I don't think he's going to be the Ring of Honor world champion for long.
So the Don Callis family will acquire another championship, will they?
Yeah, I think it's him and the Hechicera. So that's going to be a match worth looking at.
But the other thing to take notice of which I've got a feeling I've missed something somewhere in this show that we need to talk about. Now we've been mentioning Don Callis family.
We've covered it all up to the point. We're now at Okada. So, yeah.
That's why, we'll get to that. Yeah, that makes far more sense. Interesting. So, okay. Peek behind the curtain, folks. I am on AEW's website looking at their recap of the show. That's kind of how I'm getting some additional notes. Swerve and Okada is not here.
Well, why? Anyway,
I don't know. I'm just telling you. That's why I was like, wait, did I miss something? Because I remember, but yes, anyway, that aside. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where the tag team title direction goes now, because the possibilities are endless. Brodido is such a versatile team, and that's not taking away from the Hurt Syndicate. But as you said, Matty, they beat everyone soundly. And at least with Brodido now, it freshens things up. Lots of possibilities. We will see where things develop. But after that, as you have rightly pointed out, because the AEW website itself does not list it, we now have which belt was it? It's for the Unified Championship. It was Swerve Strickland challenging Kazuchika Okada. First observation, it's really weird hearing Okada not come out to his New Japan music.
It's taken some getting used to.
I totally get it. It works. But...
I do like the song. I'm glad that they retained the coin flip.
Yep.
Or the coin drop, as it were. I do like the song in itself. Still weird that he's coming out to that song, but it freshens things up with him.
It's also probably so people don't cheer him as well.
Yeah,
but you can imagine the day he turns babyface and he comes out with that music again, everyone will lose their minds. But this match, Matty, this match.
This match. But before this match, Jeremy, you and me are comic book fans, right?
Yes.
Right. Do you know what superhero Swerve Strickland came out as in his ring gear?
I'm going to be honest, I couldn't see what his ring gear was. So I'm going to assume it may have been something Static Shock related from past ventures.
No. His ring gear was modeled on Mr. Terrific.
Freaking excellent! Because he's in the Superman movie. Freaking best boy is Ricochet. Best boy is Swerve. Sorry, I was really caught in the moment then.
Yeah.
Best boy, yes, excellent. You know what else was best? This match. It might be one of my matches of the night, honestly, because it was so damn good. I love the dynamic these two have. A big story going in that had been mentioned in an interview on television as well was the fact that Swerve's got a bum knee, and this has also been played up in the storyline. This ultimately came into play, and I would say 95% of people in watching this match were into Swerve, because there was an excellent chant established during this match, which I made sure to voice note you guys because it was so damn good. Because we have the traditional call of whose house? Swerve's house. But you know what you didn't have? You didn't have a parody of a Madhouse song, which was Swerve's house in the middle of our street. Just so good. And Swerve clearly got into it as well. He probably has no idea what it's a reference to. but he started conducting with it and whatnot. Just really, really good fun. And obviously, because it was still technically Continental Championship rules, seconds were banned from ringside, which is why Prince Nana wasn't there, which admittedly, it took me a few minutes to remember that.
But also I pointed out to the others, because they've retained the no outside interference, no one's allowed at ringside, they didn't... Don Callis was still there.
Yep.
And they've now established that he is Okada's manager. So why was he there?
Commentary.
Then he should do more commentary without any of his stablemates there at times to make sure that this is a thing.
No, you're not wrong. I don't disagree at all.
Yeah. I knew that's what you were going to say. And but it's still...
Expectations met.
They should have made more to say that as a loophole rather than he's just there on commentary, you know?
But yeah, so this match was really good fun. Ultimately, Okada was able to get the win. Swerve's knee started coming into play, as well as a couple of other body parts that have been worked on. But it was after the match, when Okada was celebrating, where things took a turn, if you will.
Yeah.
Because Swerve's knee was heavily attacked with a steel chair, if memory serves. It was also stuck in between the ring steps and the ring post. Just being attacked on heavily. Then Prince Nana comes wielding a pipe, which I assume he found somewhere in the O2, just randomly. And it came wielding it and started protecting things, protecting Swerve, trying to get him out of the corner when he went in the ring. Then a large man appears in the ring, and I saw the man bun, and I instantly went, "He's freaking back!" And
he's back, and he's a bastard still.
Yeah, and lo and behold, now Wardlow has returned. And my immediate thought was, this works perfectly. It makes total sense. He is in the Don Callis family. And then they confirmed it a few minutes later when he went down the aisle and he hugged Don Callis. The rest of the family came out, sans one person, because eventually Takeshita came out. G1 winner Takeshita, might I add. No trophy, I was gutted. But he came out, and then he had clearly a bit of a stare down, and I assume, Matty, there was an exchange with something like, all right. Fair.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. One thing of note that I've got to bring up is whenever Takeshi's not been around and Don Callis is with Okada, Don Callis says that Okada is one of the greatest Japanese assets he's made. He's pretty much one of the best Japanese imports. And Takeshita wasn't there.
Yep.
So I think the turn is in place. I think the pieces are being put on the board. I think we are getting a babyface turn from Takeshita soon.
100% agree. They teased it before the Omega match with Okada. There was a little stare down between the two in a backstage segment. Yeah. And there was that feeling of, oh, I want to see it. I want to see it badly.
Oh, yes.
So it's going to happen. And also, I think from a New Japan point of view, it feels like they want Takeshita to be a babyface, given how he's won the G1 and stuff, and he really loves wrestling. So it feels like that's going to be a global synergy when it comes to his role, as it were.
I'm calling it. He's IWGP champion by the end of the year.
Him and Zach will be phenomenal if we get to see that. I want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here.
But so Wardlow being part of the Don Callis family, it makes total sense. I'm all for it. I am now starting to get concerned that what's Don Callis going to do with all these big men? There's only so many titles to go around. Hechicero, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up with a belt as well. You know,
he's going to get cramp from all those paintings he's making of them all being naked around him.
I thought you were going to say he's going to get cramp from all the belts he's got to hold to carry down to ringside.
No, it's Don Callis. We go crude when it comes to Callis.
He wears the other two belts Okada has. It's so funny.
They clarified originally that, oh no, the other two titles are still active. It's just the unified title are both of them. And it's like, no. And then they said, oh no, that's a brand new title. He's the first champion. And they've sort of walked that back by having Callis be the one to hold the previous two titles, which is a bastard move to do. But I really hope going forward, if whoever beats Okada for that title, it is just that title. Please, TK, I know. Please get off the sherbet. I know you love the fountains. I know you have a taste of the licorice. Just get off your sugar habit and just chill out. Sometimes less titles mean better stakes. Just saying. Anyway. Hello, Jeremy.
From there, we move on to the pre-lights out main event, if you will, for the AEW World Championship. It was Hangman Page defending. Oh, wait, what? Oh, no, in fact, sorry, I scrolled down too far on my
Dial
notes.
it back. You're technically right. It was the Women's World Championship with Timeless Toni Storm.
It was the advertised main event in the women's division on the show. Trying to save that one quickly.
I will save you. I will save you because technically you were correct until you said Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page has absolutely categorically said he is the men's world.
I love so much that they're distinguishing that as well.
And so, with him being the men's world heavyweight champion, the women's division have their women's world heavyweight champion. So, yes.
So we've got Toni Storm and Athena. Now, I said to you folks going in, I can't remember exactly. I think my thought was, I think Toni's going to win, but I want Athena to win.
Yes, we did.
That was how we saw it going. And ultimately, that is how it went. We got a fun match between the two. I think they've got very good chemistry with each other. And Billy Starks got involved a little bit as well. Ultimately, Mina came out as well to fend off Billy Starks, which was incredibly amusing. When you suddenly saw this dynamic pink hair just appear from a sort of out of nowhere. But yeah, Toni and Athena have got very good chemistry. I will say, I don't know if it was just by pure coincidence. It did feel like this was a point in the show where people went, I need a rest of some kind. And it's sad it had to be this match, but everyone was still so into Toni. I loved Athena's entrance as well. It works so well live, Matty. I cannot emphasize it. The music is so damn good.
Yeah.
When Toni got the pin, because it was it decisive? Was it a roll up? Let me try and remember myself.
I think it was.
Oh no, it was chicken wing, wasn't it?
It was a chicken wing submission.
Yeah,
there was an attempt at the quick roll up again between them.
Yeah.
And honestly, we thought that's how it was going to go again.
Yeah.
So happy that it was a submission at least. Let's get it here. We wanted Athena to win. We're happy that Toni won.
Either way, it was kind of like a win-win, lose-lose scenario.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the best result because you're not going to go, yeah, Toni Storm, she's incredible. So,
I mean, admittedly, when Athena tapped, I did go, oh, come on!
So,
quite
interesting
loudly.
things of note. Toni Storm came out looking like Marie Antoinette because she was expecting to lose her head.
That makes so much more sense now. We were trying to figure out what's going on here.
They made the fact that Toni Storm has a losing streak in London now, which is kind of codswallop because I'm pretty certain she retained on Progress's Hello Wembley when she was Progress Women's Champion. I'm sure I need to double check that, but sure
that's not
she retained
AEW canon, Matty.
It's still Toni Storm canon. But yeah, I haven't got much else to say about this. I think it's the strongest showing that Toni has had in a London show now so far. I think because as much as I adored the other matches, her and Mariah May, it's fine. It was good. It was fine. I think that they outdid that match with the last match Mariah May had in the company afterwards.
The Hollywood ending?
The Hollywood ending. Best trilogy of matches we've had. I would say that Toni Storm's did she lose to Hikaru Shida and then Hikaru Shida lost in the 4-way in All In a couple of years ago?
I want to say Mina beat her at one point to get a title match.
I think so. But they had well established that Toni Storm just could not get a win when it comes to the big London shows or the big UK shows. They did a recall on Instagram because when she lost to Mariah May last year, she walked out of the venue with Luther and just went away. This year, after a match, she went out in the remainder of her Marie Antoinette gear and literally just collapsed on the ground and stared out into the stars.
Hmm.
It was a lovely little garnish at the end that we got in social media. Please don't push Athena down the pecking order.
I want her to stay. Like, it's worked so well. It's been good fun.
They sprinkled so much cross-pollination between storylines between Alex Windsor and Mercedes Moné and Athena and Toni Storm throughout the build for both of their matches, enough to say you can actually have Athena versus Moné.
Again, because we had it in the Owen Hart tournament, didn't we?
We did. She's still looking for belt number 10, Jer.
Yeah.
She still is. And you could do that with them facing off against one another. I don't want Athena to lose that title per se, but she's the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion for a reason, and that is they're not doing much with her with that title.
My genuine thought was Athena was going to win the AEW women's title, and then she would relinquish the ROH women's title, saying, no one can beat me, thus I am the forever champion of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Whoever wins it next, win it. You didn't beat me. You never will. Like, that's how I imagined it going, because then she could just then kind of carry on the forever champion thing. Like, from one title to another. Like the souls passed on or something.
Athena has well and truly showed her dominance in this division. Like, absolutely 100%. I do not want to see happen to Athena that has happened to so many people that have challenged for that title just disappear into obscurity.
I mean, also, what next in general as well?
Yeah.
Like...
Or worse, go to Ring of Honor. Just, I love Ring of Honor. I love the Ring of Honor of old, but it is true. Ring of Honor is just a show that exists now, and that's sad.
It's very much in its own like bubble, if you will. Its
Exactly,
own ROH,
precisely.
watchroh.com bubble.
TK, do stuff with Athena. She's great. So is Billy Starks. Billy Starks she has learnt so much being around Athena. She has got oodles of heel charisma to Billy Starks now. And we didn't see that at the start. We just saw a naive little girl. And the fact she took that naive little girl and you've built a freaking Billy Starks out of that. That's all I'm saying. It's been a great run. It's time for Athena to go to bigger and better now.
But what next for Toni? Because I hate to say it, but kind of like the Hurt Syndicate, she's beat everyone.
Yeah. This is why we wanted Athena to win. We're still happy Toni won. She beat the streak. I wanted her to lose every single time she was in London. We didn't get that, but I'm still happy she retained. But I'm in full agreement with you, Jer. What are we going to do with her?
What's in the AEW roster from a female perspective? Can I highlight this on their website?
Windsor!
Yeah, you're not wrong. Right, who else is there? We've got Windsor, Anna Jay. Athena's actually listed as part of the AEW women's roster.
She has been for a while.
Her
and Billy Starks have been moved to the Dynamite roster for a while.
As is Britt Baker still there, apparently. Deonna Purrazzo, Diamante, Emi Sakura, Harley Cameron, Hikaru Shida. Jamie Hayter's back now. Maybe we'll get Toni and Jamie.
Yep.
Julia Hart, Camille is still listed. Karen Jarrett's still listed. I forgot that. Kiera Hogan, Chris Statlander, Layla
You've named
Gray.
a whole load of people that are in Ring of Honor Perkins, by the way.
There you go. Madison Rain, Marina Shafir. Mate, Toni Storm and Marina Shafir. Go on. There you go.
Or if we are going to get women's tag championships, Marina Shafir and Chris Statlander.
Mate, I'm looking forward to Stat eventually joining. We're about to curb that conversation, but I'm so game for it.
Yeah.
We've got Megan Bain again, potentially. Mercedes Martinez is listed. Mercedes Moné, obviously. Mina Shirakawa. Mother Wayne, Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, Queen Aminata. Rebel is still listed, apparently. Red Velvet, who I think is injured currently. Riho.
She is.
Ruby Soho. Serena Deeb is a name I've not thought of in a while because they've just not been on TV. Sky Blue, Ty Mello, Taya Valkyrie, Tekla, Thunder Rosa, Willow, obvious my next pick, and Yuka Sakazaki, who I think may have a knee injury as well. But hey, you know what? Willow and Toni, make it happen.
Yeah. It's just a simple yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want Willow to be world champion so bad.
He's so good. No more notes, as it were. Just Willow is champion, no notes.
Oh.
Then we come to the final pre-lights out main event match, as it was for the AEW Men's Women World Champion. Men's Women? Take two. Then we come to our final... I know this is live, I don't care. Then we come to our final advertised pre-lights out main event match for the evening, as it is for the AEW Men's World Championship, with Hangman Page defending against MJF. Additional stipulations added, because although this was originally as part of MJF's Casino Gauntlet contract thingy, per what happened on Dynamite, Hangman Page had to agree to the demands of MJF so that Mark Briscoe was not thrown in seemingly in the River Clyde, I assume, in Scotland.
Well, it got worse than that. They poured gasoline over him and threatened to set him alight.
Oh, that too? Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, I knew it was something. That's why I just thought River Clyde. I had a 50-50 chance. So the stipulations being, the title can change on a count-out, the title can change on a DQ, and it was not MJF's casino contract money, MITB Money in the Bank style thing. No, it was just a title shot. This match was really freaking great. So good. Everyone was well up for this in the building. Hangman is a beloved god. MJF is a beloved dick, as it were. Just so good. And everything about this was just really good fun. There was some complete randomness in this match. I will not disagree for when we inevitably point it out. But as a whole, this match was a fantastic experience. Told a great story. MJF trying to be the chicken beep heel that he is, trying to do everything he can to use those extra stipulations to his advantage. It didn't come together. Ultimately, Hangman was able to get the win. And when that 3 count happened, Matty, it was just the culmination of a wonderful moment. It was so damn good, this match.
Bryce Rinsberg is both some of the best bits and one of the biggest worst bits about this entire match.
Go on.
Basically, his authority during the match as well, when he's catching MJF out for certain things. Him throughout the entire match between both those guys. It helped sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper over some of the bits that we were going to bite into. Like, I didn't think MJF was going to win this title until about a week prior, because it seemed so soon after Hangman won the title, and we needed a nice lengthy reign, feel-good reign for him, as it were. But then I started thinking, but what if?
Always the what if
MJF does win that title through shenanigans and have like a proper Triple H like Reign of Terror run with it. And then I started going, then the fix was in with me. So for every single bit where Hangman could get disqualified over, counted out, that sort of stuff, I started to think, this is going to be such a shit way of changing hands. But it's also not really the main event. So it could.
It was that little what if, that little itch, wasn't it? Like because also, if it were to change in one of those two ways, like the count out or the DQ, you'd be just like, such an MJF move.
So let's get to the whole elephant in the room in this. The initial decision. So we had a free count. We had a visual free count. Bryce Rinsberg blatantly maneuvered himself away to not look at Hangman putting his foot in the rope and make us all think that MJF won. It was so awkward, Jeremy. It was so freaking awkward. Why would you do a count looking away from the pin? Like, Bryce was staring so far away from a pin attempt, it was unreal.
Now, Matty, wrestling referees are trained to have excellent peripheral vision, so therefore I firmly believe that Bryce Remsburg's eyesight extends past the edge of his eye. Past the edge of...
I'm waiting for this big old leap of logic, Jeremy. Go on.
Okay, look, truth be told, Matty, at the time, I do not recall him moving away like you said. I just remember him being in a bit of a weird position and thought, oh, he's missed his foot. Come on.
Now,
like being on the rope.
On television, we questioned whether it was actually a clean pin or not because we didn't see him put his foot on the rope.
It was definitely before 3. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, we found out since we've definitely found out since. But looking at the pin, what?
Oh, so they didn't actually show the foot on the rope very well, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, very much. And so it turned out, yes, visually on camera he did put his foot on the rope, but there wasn't a much. It was not the what you were focusing on.
Yeah,
as it were, to the point where we were questioning whether that was an actual proper pin or not, and so it kind of took us out for a little moment and it added to the overall awkwardness of it. I will say though, out of all of this, Bryce, love, you're supposed to be looking for shoulders. What the fudge was that about? I think he's been so used to he's an expert of invisible people wrestling. That's the thing, Jeremy. And so he was obviously checking for invisible people while he made that pin. There was another match going on at the same time that we weren't aware.
So you're saying he saw the O2 Arena ghost, which I've just made up on the spot.
Yes,
as a figment of imagination.
Yeah, so that was the one thing. I'm entirely with you on this. This was a fun match for the reasons I stated above. It was easy enough to bite into.
You know what else worked really well as well, which I need to put over? I don't know how they came across on TV. The sound of like the contract tin bouncing off of MJF and Hangman's head. It sounded so crisp in the arena. It was so good. Such a satisfying sound.
But what it does do, it gives MJF not one, but 2 rights away to re-challenge for that title because, number one, he could have been disqualified doing that. And he said, look what he did to get... So, there's 1. 2...
Then all they've got to do, hold that thought. Hangman's just got to go, listen, dumbass, you kicked me in the balls, you hit me in the head with your tray, you tried to hit me in the head with the belt. Dumbass, you got DQ'd 3 times. Also, you tombstone me through a broken table. What the hell?
It may look, audience, that I'm just continuously just flipping Jeremy off at this point, but it's just I'm literally
Wouldn't
just
be the
holding
first
this.
time.
Love you, Jer.
Me too.
But I'm just holding on to the second point, that being on the note of the contract being used. He still has the contract, so he can use it. So yeah, I feel that we're going to get a rematch soon.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but seemingly in the media scrum after the fact as well, Tony Khan has changed the conditions of the casino gauntlet contract.
Yes,
apparently there has to be like what's the word? Has to be claimed at least a week before the proposed title defense.
I believe so. Yes. And he also did it as a way of saying, yes, we are also aware that we literally just throw matches on prior to a pay-per-view and we're trying to work to stop that from happening.
So like this one, you mean?
Like this one, exactly. Tony,
now,
never change. Do change.
Tinfoil hat moment here from me. The way I thought this was going to go if MJF won with the belt was that there would be like a screwy finish, which somehow would either lead to Hangman retaining or MJF winning, but then somehow it being figured out, oh no, wait, that wasn't allowed, restart the match. Or that's the match, that's the end of it. And MJF goes, damn it, cash it in now. And then he wins the belt.
I said exactly that to the others. I said I could absolutely see him winning and then MJF would just cashing that contract in like immediately.
Because the thing that Tony Khan has potentially put a wrinkle in his plan here, and I'm saying this like pure hypothetical, is if he has publicly said now in the media scrum, not on TV, that the recipient of the casino gauntlet contract, the person who holds it, has to claim the match within a week so they can promote it. You can't even do a stealthy thing where, say, hypothetically, if Hangman was going to defend the title tomorrow night on Dynamite, hypothetically, and then say if MJF was like, okay, is that so?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm claiming it now so that after that match is ended, I want to have the shot, but then he would have to promote it. So you can't even have like the stealthy thing. It's actually got to be announced now. Unless that's going to only come into effect from future Casino Gauntlets to kind of honor the contract that MJF has.
I'm trying to think of that's actually the case, because the idea of having a championship match within a week of earning the thing is kind of it.
I mean, hypothetical. It was more just like the next title defense.
But I think it's right in order to state your claim on what you want to challenge for within like that thing, and then you could promote it to like the following pay-per-view or the pay-per-view after that. Absolutely. And it also gives you a good build on top of that. One thing I would say then, though, to that is it takes away the idea that anyone could win the contract as it stands, because if it puts you straight into a title picture.
Well, I agree, but also disagree in the sense of it could give an opportunity to maybe give someone a chance to have a title shot. I know if you need to call your shot as to when you want to have it, there's like a time to try and build it up a little bit. I do agree with you in principle, but I think, I mean, heck, like we were mentioning it earlier, I guess we're sort of starting to now wind the discussion down a bit, as it were. But that could also call into question the notion of Ospreay and Swerve are going to be out for a while / a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a way of being able to build up someone else the next time they do Casino Gauntlet stuff, in that you can let someone else win the casino match and get a title shot and give them a test run in a title picture. And it could just be a couple of week thing on Dynamite. Potentially, it's just because you got Swerve and Ospreay are massive. Like the reactions from Sunday night or anything to go by, but obviously in general, also very ironic. Do you remember the stipulation of their match against the Young Bucks at All In, where if they lost, they couldn't challenge the title for the world title for a year? Ironically, they're both out injured now.
It's
almost like it was planned.
But no, I think that's worked in the Young Bucks' favor in particular, because now we've got this really interesting like comedy side to them again, where it's like Rod and Todd, dude. Rod and Todd.
It was very good. I will say, it did not clock to me in the arena. It was Haribo. I thought it was Jelly Beans.
No, it was it was gummy bears basically. So I was teasing Harriet throughout most of the evening by going gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. I won't sing the rest of the song because we might get flagged for copyright.
For what it's worth, Matty, my immediate thought was to nearly sing that exact same song.
Yeah,
when you said gummy bears. For what it's worth.
I'm glad you were thinking the same thing, because there seems to be not an awful lot of Adventures of the Gummy Bears fans amongst our little quartet. So it's like,
if you know, you know. It's very much a you had to be there thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Forbidden Door, fantastic show. In terms of the live experience, it was a really, really fun show. Not perfect by any means. I think there are definitely some things that could be improved upon. Not much, but again, like I think I said earlier in the show, I wish there had been more other promotion talent lurking about. I wish there had maybe been another CMLL person. I wish there had been some more New Japan people. But the fact of the matter is, like we were talking about very early on, New Japan's G1 tournament finished last weekend. So in terms of the big name talent who could be involved, it was very slim pickings, quite frankly.
Which means that we'll be saying goodbye to Tomohiro Ishii again real soon, because
he got to have his summer excursion, in AEW again.
I love when he comes over for his summer excursion. They had him in an intergender tag team with Willow Nightingale, Jeremy. That's
Mate,
so
you got to see
cool.
Willow and Ishii tag. It was great.
Fantastic. I mean, as sad as it is that he can't really take part in the G1 all that much anymore, the fact is that we then get him over here. We then get him over on AEW and just have like seemingly the time of his life on some really fun shows and some fun matchups. Sorry, I'm flagging.
Likewise, we're good. We'll be done in a few minutes.
But I feel that we're going to say goodbye to him again soon, because G1 be over. But having said that, let's segue over to a little bit of fantasy booking here, Jeremy, that will probably get you very excited. Having just won the G1, we then move to the Continental Classic, which has been confirmed will be happening again later in the year.
2 of the dates of which will be happening in the UK, because there will be a Collision taping in Cardiff and a Dynamite taping in Manchester.
There we go. And which then brings it back round to the UK tour once again. Wouldn't it be fantastic that one of the biggest prospects in that yet again would be one Konosuke Takeshita?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, just maybe, not only does he become IWGP champion, maybe he could win said C2 and challenge for Okada's unified title.
Should I give you a fantasy booking that will never happen because I'm sure politics will make sure it can't? Okada, the unified champion, defends against IWGP champion Takeshita.
I said the same thing, Jeremy.
Well, no, but more specifically, what I mean, though, is that there is no way Okada is going to be allowed to challenge for that IWGP belt. The fact that he's on a cross-promotional event with a promotion he just left. I say left, not as in the other day, as in that he left.
I was surprised he was there, quite frankly, because didn't he opt out of the previous Forbidden Door because he didn't want to...
I don't remember at this point, to be honest.
I think he wasn't at the previous Forbidden Door. I need to double check that.
I have a feeling he was for some reason.
I think it was like there was some event that involved like New Japan and AEW in which he opted not to be on because he had just left New Japan.
Who did Okada face at Forbidden Door last year, if anyone? He was in a trios match with the Young Bucks against the Acclaimed.
Oh, well,
that's why we don't remember.
Oh, before we finish up, we ain't going to get much of a chance to say this. It might be in the next pay-per-view. We don't know. What the fudge is going on with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens?
They're flip-flopping and they'll be back together within a year, Matty.
I don't get it. I know that Max Caster's gotten like he's gotten in with the crowd now. I get that.
Go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive.
But do we really have to turn Bowens heel?
So the way I think this may come off eventually is it's not necessarily Bowens is turning heel, but he's just frustrated with his own career trajectory. So I don't think it would necessarily be him going heel, but he is just being angry all the time. And that's probably how it'll probably come full circle at some point, is what I think. In terms of some other bits and bobs within the AEW pantheon, if you will, the fact that they're coming over to do two more TV, they're doing two TV tapings, which who knows if WWE is going to decide to run head-to-head with them. They probably will because, it's what they do now. Very interesting they're coming back we're in August now, December, within a half year. They're coming back.
Not even half a year. It's literally 3 months away.
There you go. For some reason, my brain was like, don't try and do maths, Jeremy. Not now. Don't do it. So the other thing I would like to touch on is I was talking earlier about like the live event experience versus watching things on television. And this is not me flexing a muscle, but it's just kind of me stating a fact here. I have had the privilege of being able to see a Dynamite taping in Chicago. I've seen like 3 tapings in Canada. I saw 2 collisions at a Dynamite in Canada. I was at Forbidden Door in 2024. I've been to 2 of the Wembley All-In, the 2 Wembley All-In shows, and now this Forbidden Door. So I've got a pretty good viewpoint, I feel, on the way the AEW live experience can be and has been and is. And over the past couple of All-Ins, it's been super cool to see them run a stadium like Wembley, but it's also not been the most ideal experience to watch those shows because Wembley is so big. There weren't big screens, for example, in optimum places. Like the actual being in the stadium experience was not optimal. Yet sometimes when you're in an arena, it is far more optimal, I feel, to watch AEW. And being at Forbidden Door, it kind of cemented my feeling that as things stand, as much as I love AEW, I currently have zero intention of going to All In at Wembley next year. Because after watching All In Texas this year, I thoroughly enjoyed watching that stadium show on television. I love the show to bits. There was so much nuance that I got watching it on television, be it from the commentary or microphones picking things up. And it kind of reminded me while I was at Forbidden Door on Sunday of I feel like I'm missing tiny little details. And I don't know what they are, but it feels like it wasn't a complete jigsaw puzzle. And look, we can look back on this in, a year's time, and then you'll say, oh, Jeremy, you said that, didn't you? But, come a year's time, if there is something that is announced for All In where I'm like, bugger it, man, I want to be there, I'll buy a cheap ticket the week of, but I am not going to buy a pre-sale ticket for All In, I've decided. Just because I feel like that's kind of where my head's at. And also, truth be told, I don't have any intention of going to Manchester or Cardiff for the Dynamite and Collision shows. Not necessarily because I wouldn't want to, just because I feel my experience may be better watching it on TV, because I've been to TV tapings before, and you can miss out on a lot of nuanced detail being at a TV taping compared to actually watching it on the TV itself.
Yeah. On that note, Jeremy, I mean, I will probably never go to a big wrestling show without a variance of you guys.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
One of the best things I've had, especially this past year. Don't know if we'll be doing it for Clash in Paris yet, because it clashes with work because it's on a Sunday. But one of the best amount of funds I've had in the last year or so is the fact that we basically, in prep to doing BunkaMania, is we tend to watch an awful lot of the live shows together via Discord as a group. The fact is that this was the first show that we watched as a unit together in person, and I think that accelerated the experience like no tomorrow. Yeah, you could say that the show ended on a bit of a bad moment when it came to the beatdown of One Will Ospreay, and it definitely left a bit of a sour taste in some of our mouths, or a not sure in mine until the next day. But the fact is that we watched a show together and we had a great time, an absolutely great time. And you can't really say that when you go somewhere solo. I think if you plan to go to something live, you go there with friends, you go there with like-minded people, and you just have a great time. It's ruined me. I don't enjoy wrestling as much watching it solo anymore. One of the reasons why I don't tend to watch an awful lot of the weekly shows anymore is it just doesn't feel the same. And for the weekly shows, I tend to just have it on in the background now while I do other things. I live for watching the pay-per-views with other people. That's how I get my enjoyment now. Because,
as a communal experience.
As a communal experience now, because I just can't. I just can't now. Because I have now reached the point where I have shared the fun and frolics with other people.
Yeah.
And I can't take that back trying to watch it like in seclusion. So on that note, Jeremy, I would go, but I wouldn't go solo.
Yeah, and you know what? That may potentially be the fact that all those shows I've been to, sans the all-in ones, I was there solo. Like, there may have been other people who I'd met up with at the building, for example, but actually being next to someone living vicariously with them, it does make a difference, be it you watching it on TV or be it you at the building. But yeah, that's just kind of my current thoughts. I love this Forbidden Door show. I've said what I've said. I wish there was more Japanese talent on it, just because it would have made it feel more Forbidden Door-y, if you will.
Yeah.
But still a fantastic show. But yeah, at the moment, I will quite happily watch those Dynamite Collision shows later this year on TV. Unless they announce something stupid where I'm like, damn it, I've got to freaking go, which inevitably will happen. And yeah, that's my current take on the all-in thing next year. Just because, again, Wembley is so vast. And the rush for trying to get tickets is so awkward and whatnot. It's just like, you know what? I might still be able to get a great ticket if I really decide to go last minute on the week of. It might just be easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on that note, Jeremy, I think we're done.
Yeah, because we've just about hit 2 hours. But folks... Thank you so much for watching us. We genuinely super appreciate it.
Yeah.
Worth noting once again, because we've talked about this already, but we'll talk about it again now. This Friday, BunkaMania UK on Twitch, Harriet and Ian will be doing a live reaction of WWE SmackDown in Paris. So if you want to watch the show along with them, you can do just that. And of course, when it comes to Matty and myself, if you want to find Matty doing his thing on the Twitches, he can be found under MattyBoo Twitches. If you want to find me, it's Giraffe for me. but Linktree/GiraffeMe is the way to go for that. That is how you can find us. And of course, for all things BunkaMania, go to Linktree/BunkaMania UK. Hope you all enjoyed it. I will say, I believe that there is a plan to do some kind of Clash in Paris review. I'm not going to commit to a when, because there may, stay tuned for Friday, I'll prove more details then, there may be some kind of watch along of the follow-up Raw show to Clash in Paris. I don't know where it is, but it sounds like there might be something in the works.
Think of it this way. When we know, you guys will know. And the wrestling never ends, Jeremy. The wrestling never stops because it just doesn't. But the thing we can tell you is that you can watch it with us right here in BunkaMania UK.
There you go. As you just saw there from the Decadane as well, Wednesday next week is the tentative date for the Clash in Paris review. So there you go.
There you go.
just confirm. Folks, thank you so much for watching. We've had a ball. Hope you have as well. Forbidden Door 2025 is in the books. What the hell is the next AEW pay-per-view? Is it
All Out?
Where's this happening from? Hang on. Let's
mid-September, I believe. It's
All Out from Toronto, Canada. And who's on the poster? It's Adam frickin' Copeland.
And you know what? It's gonna screw us as Fox wrestling journalists, because at exactly the same time is WWE WrestlePalooza.
I'm sorry, what?
Jamie has no idea, and it's incredible to see this in real time.
They're bringing back the WrestlePalooza name.
Oh, this is incredible. This is fantastic.
We're done.
Bye, everybody.
We'll talk to you soon, folks. Have a lovely evening. From myself, Jeremy, from Matty. It's been a wild ride. It's going to carry on, apparently. Take care. See you soon.
The wrestling never ends.